You sometimes get criticized because you're just not beating it. Maybe the best coach-quarterback combination in the history of the sport.
I think in the era that we're in now, like there's a lot of great players all over this league. It's an offensive league now.
Yeah.
It's a passing league. It's an offensive league. It's a quarterback-driven league. And I think there's a lot of great players all around. Yes, we are thankful to be playing in the time that we're playing because we're playing with some of these guys that are putting up numbers that we haven't seen.
And the money's good.
And the money's great. The money is great when it's great. And then it changes. And then it's great. And then it changes. And then it's great. So, yeah.
Heard he was moving on. What was your take? It's okay.
It was more so like more so just a deep breath. It was just like, all right, like Steph was a great teammate. Like Steph is probably like one of the best teammates that I've had. Like seeing how he prepares for a game, how he treats his teammates, how he executes his passion. And I think what the world mistakes of what they're calling drama is just the passion that he has for the sport. Like, I don't expect anybody to be happy with losing. Like, and we're all not frantic, but like we're all at that height of emotions. Like, it's an emotional sport.
Yeah.
And Steph is an emotional guy for the things that he loves, and football is one of those things. And I think we're gonna miss him. We love him, and if it was time, Brandon Beane has all those keys. Like, we don't control any of that. I was sad to see him go, but I'm happy to see him smile. And, he's smiling, and he'll be a great player wherever he goes. And I'm just glad that, we got to take a shot at it with Steph.
Was the criticism fair for years that, can we give Josh a little help up front with the run game? Was that a fair criticism?
Yeah. I mean, it's always fair because we've had so many changes. Every single year we've had so many changes. And, I tell people when I talk about it is I play left tackle, and I'm blessed. I'm good at what I do. And I've had a different guard every single year since I've been in the NFL. I've been in the league for 8 years, and I've had a different guard every single year that I have been in the league. We've had a center that just went to the Jaguars, which is Mitch, but he's been there.
Good player.
And then our right guard and our right tackle has switched off and on. So we've had a different piece of movements ever since we've got there. And I honestly want to tip my hat to Josh because he's been scrambling and doing his thing with the group that, finds the brotherhood during camp and OTAs and to get the season done. And last year, we were fully healthy the entire year, and I'm thankful for it.
Why it matters to have a new guard. Why is that symmetry so important?
Yeah, because and I really appreciate that because a lot of people don't know. But when you're playing guard, and I don't know because I don't play guard, but when you're playing guard, the guard controls the I guess forward and back of the pocket. If the pocket is getting pushed back, vertically back, that means that the guards are not doing what they're supposed to do, which is holding the line. The tackles are supposed to keep the width. We're supposed to keep everything away,
push it away,
while the guards keep everything forward. So over time, the quarterback sees, okay, this guy is a little bit less stronger than this guy. I know if we're playing against a heavier or lighter or faster line, I know that I could just step to my right just a little bit to get this pass off. Or I know, Dion is going to keep this guy as wide as possible. So if I need to drift. I could drift to my left and then get the ball out. So the guards that shift in and out, it takes reps over reps during camp, during OTAs, during live reps for the quarterback to actually understand what type of player he has. And then with seeing us in front of different type of competition, we got guys like on the Chiefs, like Jones, right? We know that, all right, Jones is one of those guys, Josh knows that, all right, I can be over here just a half a second more than this side. And I know that Dion is going to do this or chop a guy down, or Spencer is going to do that. So the quarterback knows where he can puzzle his passes.
And Josh has had to guess
and be him.
Lot.
Yeah. And Josh has had to do what Josh does, and he's been guessing, but not really guessing, but trying to figure out who his guys really are over a duration of a season, because it takes the full season to really understand. Sure.
Division games are an advantage to the offensive lineman.
Yeah. It is a full advantage, but if you take it as, oh, I got his card, then it could mess you up. But yes, like when you play the same guy over and over and over, you kind of know exactly who he is.
So tell me a good guy that's out. You don't have to play him anymore. Maybe he retired.
Retired guy?
Okay, but a guy that you knew, you played enough that you kind of knew, you had a sense of what he was. Rookies, you're just better than.
Right.
I don't worry about rookies. But I'm talking about a guy that you played, or maybe don't play, maybe he's in the NFC now, that you had some success.
Maybe like a guy like Robert Quinn, right? Like a guy like Robert Quinn.
Good player.
Like a great player. But once you play him over and over, like he was with the Dolphins when I was really young.
Yeah.
And he was really good at that jump chop move. And, you know, over repetition, you could kind of time it and figure it out, almost like a boxing match. Like,
sure.
But like you're just jabbing and jabbing and jabbing at it. And you can time what he's going to do. And that's where the benefit was to a younger player, because you play him once and then you're like, all right, you already know what this older vet is going to give you every single play. And it kind of is definitely to our advantage.
Have you ever had a game when you feel like you're bailing water for a quarter?
Yeah, like bailing water. Look, I am very confident in my game as of right now. I think and I know that I'm, if not the best in left tackle, I'm the best in left tackle in the NFL. And my favorite player that I play against is Trey from the Bengals, Trey Henderson.
Yeah.
He is one of the best players that I think, just mentally, physically, and just what he does on the football field.
What is it?
He comes out there and he plays with no gloves on.
That's
right?
little Max Crosby feel.
That is exactly. That is one of those weird tells that when you come out on the football field and you see a player and you're looking at him on snap one, you're like, all right, his helmet is tied up, he has his shoes, all right, swag check, okay, let's see what type of player he is. And then you look at his hands, and his hands, he has no gloves on. And for a player that plays with his hands all game, like that means that you're just a little bit like, all right, he's a real football player. And then he comes and he hits you every single play. Boom, 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 boom. Every rep, every play, he's coming at you. And that tells you that you have to be on your P's and Q's no matter what. But and Myles Garrett, like Myles Garrett, I salute, I tip my hat. He's just one of those guys. He's one of those guys that I know that, look, I respect you on and off of the field, and I know the type of player that you are, and he brings it every single rep. So, yes, there's multiple players. These guys on the defensive side are getting more freakish every single day,
I always feel
and I respect it.
Are most trash talkers. Max Crosby is a trash talker.
Most of those guys are trash talkers.
That's right. That's part of their DNA.
Yeah, it's just what they do. They try to get into the offensive lineman's head, but they are trash talkers, you know. And Vaughn, which is my teammate now, which I'm thankful for. Vaughn is one of those funny trash talkers, and he might catch you but off guard, like what you just say, but he's talking smack.
Do you ever think he feels a bit overwhelmed, like can't go to the grocery store kind of thing? You ever? Yeah. I think to myself, I mean, in New York, he'd be mobbed. In Buffalo, how does he go to?
He doesn't. Josh doesn't. You know, Josh. He stays away.
Does he?
You know, out of respect of the little bit of time that he has, because he spends all day at the facility. So when he's not in the building, he can't go anywhere. Like, dinners are usually the best because we go in one way and out the next. And the people that are in charge there, they take great care of us, where we can just sneak in and sneak out. Okay. But Josh is at the highest of the highest. Like, mobs will really mob. And it's like a real mob.
Oh, yeah. How does he lead? Does he ever bark? Does Josh ever bark? I mean, is he ever allowed? I mean, like you, he didn't have to worry about. But has he ever gotten after you a little bit? Is he verbal?
Absolutely, yeah. Josh is like one of those guys that will do what it takes at that moment. And he's definitely a barker when that time comes. Okay. And I've actually seen the bark a lot more this OTAs, where he's been like very, very like verbal, because our team is different. Like, it's different.
You got some young dudes on that offense.
We got some young dudes that, like, you know, like when they come in, like they see a little bit of of success, and it could change. So Josh is doing exactly what he should.
Are you comfortable? Are you comfortable barking? Are you comfortable being that guy?
Yeah, I've always barked. You know, like I'm always want to shoot it straight. Like I don't hide. I live in a vulnerable state, and I tell it the way that it should. And I've wore the captaincy on my chest for 3 years, and it's a blessing to even be in that realm of looked at as that. So I think that when you're in a position to run a football team, you have to bark, and you have to know who you can bark to, because everybody doesn't take barking the right way. So you have to learn what type of bark to use for which type of player.
That's interesting.
Like I don't know Keon fully yet, because he's new. I can't just be like, Keon, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, let's go. Like, I don't know yet. So I'm going to see in a couple practices and see what type of kid he is when he gets hit, and I'm going to see. And then if he can take it, then he'll definitely get the barks.
Do you give him a heads up, like, you better be ready, because it's brand of football up here. There are no finesse Buffalo Bill teams.
For sure.
You tell him that, no problem.
Yeah, it's more so like, look, kid, I mean, they always say, how do you do it? Like how do you do it? And I always say the blessing of it is we could afford jackets. You know, like you could afford a nice jacket. So get you a nice jacket. Make sure you start your car in the morning and get your butt to practice. You'll be all right.
She always said Buffalo had the nicest people of anywhere.
But they do. And I will back that. But Buffalo does have some great people. You know, they have their bad too. Like Buffalo has their bad, but you know, for the most part, Buffalo's people are the best.
But the Bills mean
best.
A lot to the community.
And they love us. And, you know, like I played at Temple, which it wasn't at Alabama, so I didn't really have that overall feel of what being truly appreciated as an athlete was until I got to the Bills. And when I got there, it was like the highest of the highest. So it's a beautiful feeling to have a neighborhood and a community really, you know, high-key worship the Bills.
Like when you see a pass rusher from Ohio State, do you think, bring it, Buckeye?
100%. I have the biggest chip on my shoulder, and I take it with the most pride that I'm playing against guys that went to these big schools and have all these accolades, and I'm doing my job.
You know where they go to school.
For sure.
You know where all of
every guy, we look at their depth chart, top to bottom, size, what round they got drafted, their 40 time, their weight, their bench press and 225, their 3-cone drill, all of it. I look at every single thing about the player. But no, I'm thankful that I went to Temple, because Temple continued to mold me to have that dog. And when I'm off of the field, I'm very calm. I'm calm but chaotic, but I'm calm. And then when I play, it's a whole different ball game. Thankful to Weeze and Coach Rule.
Max Crosby is one of my favorite people.
Yeah.
He is, and a part of why I like him is he's just wired differently. How many times have you faced him? Once, twice?
I think it was twice. But once when Max Crosby was Max Crosby. Like, you know, like now Max Crosby is Max Crosby. Like he's flowing. Like he's at the best of his game and he's getting better. But
you faced him when he was a kid.
Younger.
By the way, like you overlooked
my
directional school.
Still overlooked.
Yeah.
Still. But it's okay, because I'm winning in the shadows, and then that'll change when it changes. But hey, year 8 and still great. It's a beautiful
what are you
thing.
doing out west?
Well, I train and I drive drift cars, man. I'm big in drifting now.
Well, what does that mean? I don't even know what that is.
Drift. So let me tell you. So like, you know what NASCAR is? You know what Formula 1?
I know what NASCAR is. Yeah.
Drifting is where you drive sideways. it's literally driving sideways. And but you might think that like you're going 100 miles per hour. You're literally going like maybe 40, 50, 60.
Now, where do you do this?
At the Big Indian Drift Pit in Buffalo. It's a beautiful thing.
Was that a course at Temple? When did you get into that? What's going on?
I'm telling, Buffalo just keeps unveiling different parts of Buffalo. Like I didn't even know that Buffalo has this stuff. And it's just like, hey, Dion, like you want to go drifting? Like Tony said, Dion, do you want to go drifting? And I was like, I don't know what drifting is. And I go out there and I get in the drift car, and Eric just takes me on a spin, and I fell in love. Like it was the same thrill of being in the game, because you're in control and you have to fight in the car while spinning sideways. And then 2 days later, I had my own car, and I was drifting my own car 2 days later.
I guess the question would be, when you're in there, are you more nervous than anything else?
So no, and let me explain why.
Hold on, I gotta look this up.
Because
it's intense.
Because like you have to think, right? Like when you're in a car and you're going 200 miles per hour straight with nobody really around you, when you're drifting, you're this close to the car and that you're racing against. So a little bump, a little tap, it's not about to make the car do all this crazy stuff. It's just gonna spin it out, and then you just idle out. Like the cars never flip, they never do all this weird stuff. The bumper might pop off, but the car will then stop, and then it's over with.
Yeah, I'm
so
not doing
it's
that.
Colin's
more so
probably watched-
safer.
it's
you know, you
safer
got a full cage,
because you're not
but
going
you got
as
a helmet,
fast.
right? But you're not as far apart from the car.
Yeah, I'm
you're
not-
closer.
Who makes the car?
Well, I'm a Monster athlete, so I got Monster that's helping me with all of the ins and out, and then I have Eric and Eric's crew, which is now in my crew in Buffalo, that are tuning it and tweaking my engine and doing all the cool stuff.